I'd like to call this board meeting to order on May 28, 2019 at 6:36. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Monica, may I have roll call? And I'd like to say that Mr. Rolla is excused for today, and Ms. Martinez will be coming late.
Mr. Moreno?
Here.
Mrs. Quintana?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the minutes for May 14th, 2019.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the meeting minutes of May 14, 2019.
I'd like to have the approval of the agenda for a second.
I second the minutes of May 14, Madam Chair.
May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
I'd like to have the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
May I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second the agenda.
Roll call, Monica.
Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
I'd like to have the Adams City High School highlights at this time.
We actually have 12 students in the drumline program now. We're going to get more next year with the incoming freshmen. But these are the original 6 from our last football season. And we just wanted to recognize these students because they've done such an amazing job this year. They pushed it. This is most of their times. Most of them, this is most of their first time. And this is all of their first time in marching band. And they did an amazing job. They pushed through. They did it. They went through all the extra rehearsals. They learned cadences before the school year actually started. And then we just wanted to remind you guys again about our uniforms and how we really need them. We're in desperate need. And then our drum captain, Olivia, she's actually drum captain now for 2 years. And then she will give you guys some highlights of drum lines here, but they are going to play 3 cadences for you guys.
Okay.
many things in my head while they were playing. And I wanted to mention that this was our first year actually doing a competition. We did the Friendship Cup, and I think it was the first time we did a competition in 6 years. We didn't really get a really good place in the competition, but a lot of the people running the competition were very happy because they haven't seen Adams City High School in many, many years.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. So I'll let Olivia speak now.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I never really done this, but my name's Olivia, and I'm the captain of the drum line. I started when I was a freshman, and I was elected captain after the seniors have graduated. Honestly, the drum line this year has made me really proud. We have accomplished a lot. We come together. We are very close, and we just work together as a family. A lot of the kids right now are freshmen, and they have done a terrific job learning the cadences. We pushed through a lot of games, even through the cold, through the hotness. We've marched parades, the Halloween parade. That was the funnest. We've had a lot of fun. And yeah, drumline it's a really good program, and so is band. And yeah, that's all I'll say.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all were really, really good. I totally enjoyed you. I was already keeping the beat. Thank you. Next up, we'd like to have audience comments.
They're not done.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Okay.
They have a whole presentation. But they have a whole
Get comfortable.
No. Get comfortable.
Okay. Hi guys. Some of you guys know me, some of you do not. My name is Bailey Humphrey. I am a teacher here at Adams City High School. I teach English, and I've also been coaching the cheerleading team for the past several years. I have a few words to say about them, but first I think we should just start with some cheers. Can you guys do my call? Are you proud to be an eagle? Yes, we are. Are you proud to be an eagle? Yes, we are. Are you proud to be an eagle? Yes, we are. Last time. Are you proud to be an eagle? Yes, we are. 1, 2. Let's go, Eagles! Y-Y-A-C-R-A-X-E. We hail to the fairest of high schools. Yeah, we're 1 times 3. Rah, 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 Fred. Where will stand by her, faithful and true. Here's a toast to AC High School. Hats off to you. 5, 1, 2. Let's go, Eagles! So, we recently just had our tryouts about a month ago, and every year I tell prospective members for the cheer team that if they want to do cheerleading, it is one of the most time-consuming but most fulfilling programs they can do at the high school. These guys work so hard. While our sport is technically a fall and winter sport, they truly work year-round. When we finish our winter season, they come to open gyms all through the month of March to April. We have tryouts in April. Then through the summer, we work diligently. I think I've seen these guys for 5 days in a row at this point because at a car wash, we go fundraising, we have practices. We practice all summer, and then come the school year, the kids dedicate at least 15 to 20 hours a week towards the cheer team. If we look at practices and study hall and cheering at games, among other things, I would say these guys truly are some of the hardest working kids that I have had the pleasure to know and to work with at Adams City, and I'm so proud to be their coach. And like I said, overall cheerleading is a really big time commitment, and one of the most rewarding. And I could go on and on and on and just tell you guys about how I've seen it affect their lives or how I think cheer is important to them, but I want to give them a chance to kind of speak for themselves. If you guys want to talk when I'm done, you can. But I asked them earlier today to share with me how the cheerleading team has improved their life or affected them in a positive manner. And here's just a couple of the things that they said to me. So, one, cheer is my second home. Participating in cheer has taught me many things, especially how to embrace my skills for the real world. I've never really realized how much or how beneficial cheerleading can be. Cheer gives me more than a place to be after school. It gives me motivation as a student, strong relationships with coaches and teammates, and an overall boost in confidence. Every time I feel upset, I can always go to cheer practice and feel better. Being in cheer has allowed me to develop skills such as working in a team, the ability to learn material quickly, good memorization skills, confidence, leadership, responsibility, reliability, patience, commitment, importance of following rules, and the ability to work under pressure. And joining cheerleading was the best decision I could have made in high school.
Yeah.
Is everyone really confident and want to share? This is one of our captains for the upcoming school year, Maya. This will be her 4th year. She joined as a freshman, and she is one of the hardest working, most humble, just truly kind and generous and loving people that I know, and I'm so happy to have her as a captain and also a leader on the team.
Yay, Maya.
So the paper did touch on how it builds relationships with not only coaches but with our teammates and such. But I just kind of wanted to elaborate on that, because in any building, but especially in a high school and your learning environment, it's important to feel like you have people there, especially when you're a student. You might not feel like you have power, you might not feel like you're heard, and throughout my entire 4 years on the team, Coach Bailey and Coach Alicia, and in later years, Coach Ashley, always made us feel like we had somewhere to go, even if it wasn't related to cheer, even if we were having a bad day just for whatever it was. There have been many times where Coach Bailey has just been talk to me about your day, tell me what happened. If you're upset, tell me what happened. And it gives you a strong relationship. You always know that at least one person in the building cares about you. And it really does lead over to our teammates, people that you wouldn't normally talk to in the hall, people you wouldn't normally know for any other reason. Now there's one of the closest people, because like you said, we spend all of our time together. So these people really do become, and it sounds so cliche, but these people really do become more than just your teammates. They really do become your family and your friends and everything like that. We and I have cheer together, and probably never, we didn't speak until we had cheer. We had classes together before cheer, never spoke. Then we had cheer, and now we're in cheer again. We together, and it's good. And we have relationships with people that we wouldn't have them with before. And that's a really, really important thing to have everywhere, but especially in high school, and cheer gave us that. It's a place where all of us came together and found something in common, found something that brought us all together, no matter where we were from or what else we had going on, anything like that. Cheer was our home ground.
Okay, so this is Bianca. She's a junior, right? Okay, this is her 3rd year doing cheer, and she is. You're you're gonna be a junior, yeah. The seniors are gone. I love seniors, but I've made the transition already. She is our JV captain this year, and she is also one of the most hardworking girls on the team. She always has such a positive energy, a positive light. She's willing to step up whenever needed. She always has something good to say about her teammates, and she's always willing to help. So here's Bianca.
And always smiling.
And smiling, yeah.
I just wanted to say my own personal experience with cheer. So when I came in for my freshman year, I was terrible at coming to school and keeping my grades up, which I'm not happy about. But my coach had to talk to me, and she told me that, you know, if I don't work hard, like, nothing's gonna come to me. Like, you know, it's not gonna be given to me, so I have to really work hard. And honestly, that really pushed me because I do want to stay in cheer. When I first tried out, I was just doing it for fun, but they became my family. And now, honestly, my grades are so much better. And I knew that I can do it, but I never really had that push until cheer. So I just wanted to put that out there, that cheer really did help with me personally, and probably many others that are here today. And I just wanted to say that. So thank you.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to one more person. Our third captain. Okay, but you guys are filling it out perfectly. So this is Brianna. She's also going to be a senior. She has been on the team. This will be third year. Yeah, and she. I'm trying to think what to say about it. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Brianna's always had just such a natural talent and excitement and joy for cheer, and I think this past year she has matured far beyond her years, and she just continually makes me proud every single day. So we're also happy to have you as a leader on the team.
So I would also like to talk about my personal experience with cheer. I joined my sophomore year, and honestly, that has been the best decision that I've made all of my high school career so far. Once I joined my sophomore year, I already knew that that's where I belonged. It was kind of out of my comfort zone, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a part of the cheer team. But I went out and I did it, and I'm so glad that I did because, like I said on the paper, cheer really is my second home. When I'm having a bad day or I'm just stressed, I can always go to cheer practice, and I always know that I'll have a good time. And with my team, there's never a dull moment. Doing anything together is always so fun, even if it's something that we wouldn't like to do. We always make the best out of it, and I'm so grateful for my teammates and my coaches, and yeah.
I wouldn't be a proper coach if I didn't plug. We are doing a fundraiser to help send a couple of girls on a scholarship to cheer camp in July. So if anyone is interested in that information, you can find it on our Facebook page. It's Adams City Cheer Squad on Facebook, or you can come talk to me. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President and good evening, Madam President, Board of Education. My name is Gabriela Maldonado, and I'm the proud principal of instruction here at Adams City High School, and I have my co-partner.
Hi, I'm BJ Jeffers, principal of operations at Adams City High School, and I can't thank you enough for asking me to come over here. It's just opened up so much for us here at Adams City.
And again, we just want to say a big round of applause to, again, our cheerleading squad and our drumline. Our students have worked really hard, and the beauty about them being part of these extracurricular activities is it's giving them that confidence that they need. It's really helped them stay engaged and really stay focused on their academics. And I have to say, both of the teachers that lead these, the drumline and also the cheer, teachers that hold the students to high expectations, again, really model what it is to have integrity and high level of character, and really helping the students to be kind to one another. So we just want to, again, say a big thank you to our teachers that support these extracurricular activities. So what we would like to do tonight is, again, just highlight some of the data. Again, I feel like this year we've had a lot of challenges, but we've also had a lot of successes, and we want to highlight those for you tonight. So we'll start off by, again, we'll recognize some of the student recognitions and their accomplishments at the same time with staff recognitions. And all of it as far as the data. We want to, because one of the goals, again, every student that walks through Adams City High School, we want to make sure that they graduate college, career, and community ready. So we want to share this data with you, but most importantly, also highlight all of the staff members that are here in Adams City High School have worked tremendously hard to support all of our students to make sure that they reach the full potential. Again, you know, we had 3 Daniel Scholarship recipients. Kevin Padilla, who is going to go to Colorado State University, and we have Jamie Rickersham, who's going to the University of Colorado in Boulder, and then Rebecca Davis, who's attending the University of Central Florida. The beauty... I'm sorry?
Sorry, she's a cheerleader.
Yes, she is. And the beauty of this is the students, it's a Fulbright scholarship, and it really highlights students who have a high level of integrity, strong character. So we're extremely proud of all of our students because, again, all of these 3 students really represent what it is to be an Adams City Eagle. So, again, last year we had 2, this year we have 3, and our goal is, again, to increase next year. But, again, it's a really hard scholarship to receive, very prestigious, and again, Fulbright scholarship to wherever they want to go. We also want to highlight our ProStar Culinary program. This year, they were able to be state champions. And the beauty about all of this, too, is all of our students got scholarships, almost close to about 300,000, close? 30,000 per student. Again, yes. But the beauty of this also is the fact that our students had that confidence. They were able to compete with other students from other high schools, and yet, you know, they realized all that hard work and that dedication paid off. And again, a big round of applause to our teachers because they said, you know what, when you put in this time and dedication and stay disciplined and you want this, you know what, and you put in the work, you can win. So again, now our kids know that wherever they go, they can be winners and really compete at this high level. So,
and I'd like to thank Chris Duran, who made the trip out to Washington, D.C. with the kids. That's the old gym voice, right? Thank Chris Duran, was an administrator who made the trip to Washington, D.C. with the 9 recipients as well as the 2 teachers. And for many of our students, of those recipients, it was their first time on an airplane. And to really visualize, you know, what Washington, D.C. really looks like. They've read about it in books and they've heard it. Now they saw it and got to visit a lot of the places. So Chris, I can't thank you enough, and our faculty that led the way for our kids.
Now we have more students that want to be part of this program, and now they also want to make sure they become state champions next year. Again, we also want to celebrate our wrestling team. We had state champion, which was Marquez Salazar, and then we had another individual that finished 2nd place, Josh Dorero, and then we had the state qualifier, which was Dominic, and then James. And again, I want a big round of applause to all of our staff because, again, this is a hard sport, but again, the coaches that are there, they really support our students and have them believing, you know what, you can do this. And it's just, and you can see one, again, how happy he was and hugged the students, but very difficult, but very disciplined. And again, all of these students are first really strong when it comes to their academics and then their athletes. So I'm just really excited about basketball.
Another highlight that we have here was the Coach of the Year, Billy Salas. For the first time in 15 years, that's over a decade, that's a decade and a half, our girls basketball made it to the state tournament. You can start to see the shift at Adams City High School. First team all-conference, Genesee Aragon, Dennis, Valerie Salinas Vargas got honorable mention along with Amanda Heron and Jayanti Jones. These girls were ecstatic when they got to make that trip to state, and there was a lot of support from the high school behind them.
Also, our JROTC drill team, they had the opportunity to compete and place 2nd out of 22 teams in the Rocky Mountain drill team. And again, these are strong leaders, strong role models for the rest of the student body. And I think the beauty, again, is the fact that it encourages our other students to, again, hold themselves to that high level. So just really proud of these young ladies as well, and young men. And also very thankful to Colonel Harry and Sergeant Major Reed. Again, just amazing leaders for our students, and also the fact that really have those high expectations for our students, and again, our students are able to hold themselves to that high level. So again, really proud of our students who are part of this program.
And if you look at graduation, we already have about 5 to 7 students who have already signed up for the military, all branches, and they're on their way. So another celebration, of course, we talked about earlier was the culinary arts. And what a treat for these kids to be able to go out in the world and have that priceless memory embedded right between the 2 ears, and to represent Adams City High School. Because people are starting to say, Adams City High School, where is that? And it's nice that we're getting recognition outside of Commerce City, outside of the Denver metro area, outside of the state, and in the country.
But also our teachers are being recognized, and they're also being recognized for their hard work. So again, just very thankful that they're part of the team and they want to continue to grow the program. Another great celebration is we are part of what is called the Colorado CSU Alliance Partnership. So any student that graduates from Adams City High School, if they choose to attend Adams CSU, they get full tuition paid. So you can see that we increased our numbers. Last year we had 30 students who were able to, again, take advantage of this opportunity, and we increased it this year by 6 more. So 36 students will be attending CSU and have their tuition paid for the 4 years that they're there. So again, our kids are realizing the opportunities and taking advantage of those opportunities. Here, we want to share the data with you. It's really important that all of our students have access to rigorous coursework. You can see that last year we saw an increase. This year we kind of stayed a little stagnant. But again, our students are taking advantage of these opportunities and making sure that they're preparing themselves to go to college, because many of our students know that they want to go to college and want to make sure they're preparing for that transition. We did see an increase last year as far as students taking the advanced placement exam. This year we had some students that wanted to make sure they finished strong in their coursework, did not take the exam, but a big shift is we are now paying for them to take that exam. In the past, students had to pay for that exam, and so we just shifted some of our money to make sure that if they do want to take the exam, that money is not a barrier.
I think another reason we saw a decrease, this is one of the few areas that we saw a decrease in, and I think part of it was due to the way they switched CMAS and PARC. They were so tested out by the time it got to the AP exams that a lot of them started opting out. This was after the state testing and their SAT testing, and they were just through with testing. We're going to try to come up with something different next year to try to get more students to AP tests.
But another great opportunity that we're able to provide for students here at Adams City High School is concurrent enrollment. We're realizing more of our students are taking advantage of our CU Succeed courses, and they have more success as far as the passing rate. So you can see the big increase, and again, this allows them to be better prepared as they transition into high school and also meet those college readiness benchmarks. And again, we've also extended the offerings, and we will continue to extend those offerings for our students, because at least they're able to get credit, college credit, as whereas the AP, they only have one opportunity to take that exam, and if they don't hit that qualifying score, they do not get college credit. But we're really excited again, because again, we're seeing that increase, and right now we're looking at our numbers, and we again have high numbers, and we'll continue to expand those course offerings. College acceptance. I think you guys were at the graduation, and you noticed that we asked all students to stand up if they were going to go to a 2-year, 4-year technical, and we saw an increase. This doesn't represent all of our students. We're still looking at some of our data that we're missing exactly what school they're going to, but 57% of our seniors are at least have accepted and are going to take advantage of the post-secondary options that they have. So again, we're really excited, and we'll continue to support. Mr. Rudy Bustos has done an amazing job as far as supporting our students and also our college readiness partners, and making sure that students get their FAFSA completed and whatever pieces are missing from their applications for college, that they get those turned in. So again, just really excited about our students, knowing that they can, and they have questions, we're here to support them through this whole entire process, because it can be kind of daunting, everything that they have to complete. Here's another big point that we want to celebrate. We had a total of 333 seniors. We have right now 307 graduates. Out of those graduates, 294 of those are graduates for the class of 2019. 13 of those students are actually graduated early. So those are juniors that graduated early. And last year we had a total of 9 juniors who actually should have graduated this year, but graduated also early. So just right now, looking at our numbers, we're really excited that, again, our staff really, everybody worked. I mean, it was amazing to see everybody really supporting our students. I mean, students were coming to after-school tutoring, Saturday tutoring. Teachers were willing to work with students. Everyone was working together. So just even when students had, I can't do this, I just wait, I'll graduate next semester. We're like, no, we got you. You're so close. I mean, we will make sure whatever you need, let us know so we can support you. So we had an amazing staff really supporting all of our students.
Having come in mid-February, it was pretty neat to see this unfold, because you heard all these stories out there. Oh, they're changing grades. I watched it. In fact, Matt was over there a couple times, and Dr. Childress, and it was like, we got to capture this on video. But to watch the kids, they would come in like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then 2 weeks later, after tutoring Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and pushing them on Saturday school, and to come in like this, like, yeah, this is me, I just graduated. And to come in and to get the support from teachers on their planning time, to give up their planning time to go into the credit recovery room and tutor these kids that are needing help to get through those courses, was just unbelievable to watch. Kudos to Gabriella and the admin and all the teachers and adults in this building who came together for the kids.
And these are all the individuals that we want to acknowledge, because again, without their support, without them being there and helping the students process and making sure that they got the support that they needed. I mean, Mary Kelly Floyd, who's our Dean of Master of Scheduling and Assessments, making sure they had all the courses that they needed to be successful. Natalie Johnson, who again looked at the data, making sure they were placing the right courses as well. Our counselors, Casey Austin, Kelsey Sheridan, another counselor, and then Iman Graham, again, making sure that doing those audit checks and supporting students and making sure they got those credit recovery courses if they needed to make up some credits. And then Todd Reynolds, again, just really helping the students and encouraging them. I mean, he worked some long hours, but he saw that that's what some of our students needed. So we did whatever it took. We wanted to make sure that we provided for our students. And then Mr. Bustos as well, making sure that, you know, whatever supports that they needed, working with the universities to make sure they came in and helped our students if they were missing some things for their applications. Patricia Rodriguez White, our social worker, again, some of our kids, very stressful. It was a very stressful time. A lot of kids going through a lot of things, and she was there to support them, along with Dr. Jerry Martinez, our school psychologist, really supporting our kids when it was just like, they're like, Miss, we have so much going on, I can't even focus. And they were there to support our students. So we're just really thankful. And our teachers and our APs that were supporting whatever it took, they were there to make sure our kids did not fall through the cracks. So we're just thankful and want to acknowledge them as well. And also we want to acknowledge all of our college readiness partners, Angel Carvajal, Amanda from the Gear Up team, Erika Castro from the Yes Mentoring, Dan Bañuelos from the CSU Talent Search, the Metro State tutors that were here on Saturdays and stayed late and were here during the day, just really supporting all of our students, and then Devin Rodriguez, who was a long-term sub, and just really supported our kids with especially math. So we're just thankful for everyone, but most importantly, we're thankful to the Adams 14 School Board of Education, because without your support, there's no way that our kids would have the opportunities that they've had. I mean, we even doubled the amount of students who were able to visit universities. And so we can make sure that, you know, sometimes they have to see it to believe it and have that experience. And really our goal is to make sure that anybody that walks through our doors is graduating college, career, and community ready. So we just want to say a big thank you to you. And It's amazing the opportunities that our students have, and they wouldn't have that without you, so thank you.
Here's if you just want to look at it.
Thank you, Adams City High School, Ms. Maldonado and Ms. Jeffers. It was great to see all the kids and the band and the cheerleaders, and I would like a copy of all that. This is it? Oh, see, even before. Thank you. So now we'll go on, that concludes our Adams City High School, and we will go on to community comments, and Ms. Hillary Bryant. Can you give your address?
I'd like to thank the board, esteemed members of the board, and our acting superintendent, Darcy Moore. I have a packet of letters I'd like to give to each of you. Is this possible, or should I give it to Monica? Okay. These are letters from people in special ed. And I have one here for Mr. Rolla, but I'll give that to Monica, and one for Darcy Moore. So really all I'm here to do is to read. I'd like to read my letter, which is included in that packet. Dear esteemed members of the Adams County School District 14 Board of Education, as an employee of Adams 14 Department of Special Ed and a member of this community, I wish to present this letter of appreciation to you in support of Dr. Shay Carter, the Director of Student Services. Her leadership of the Department of Special Education since June 2018, when she was hired, is and has been and continues to be collaborative, strong, supportive of students, families, and staff. Her style is one of encouragement and integrity. She encourages the team, as well as each individual within the team, to bring their individual, unique best to each day, to each challenge, and to apply their existing strengths, and then to build new ones. Dr. Carter has, since day one, worked hard to build morale in the special education and student services department. This was vital since almost all the members of the department had left the district at the end of the 17-18 school year. She has since organized activities each month that build the team, that remind each member of the team how vital their unique individuality is, and to find joy in our work, and to bring that joy and dedication with us each day. This always sounds really good on paper in a soundbite and headline world, but what this means to each member of her team is that there is never any ego getting in the way of good works. Directors often talk about collaboration, but they fail in the implementation because of ego or politics. Shay has never fallen into either of those pitfalls.
Ms. Bryant, can you not use the names?
Oh, I'm so sorry, yes. The director of Special Ed turns to each member of the team for help, guidance, and expertise to solve whatever challenge may arise, as well as to strengthen the entire department and to build systems that prevent problems from occurring. The Director of Student Services and Special Ed abides by the CDE and OSEP letter and spirit of the law regarding the implementation of special education services and the writing of IEPs. This ensures that the Adams 14 Department of Special Education best practices are correct, safeguarding our students and our families. It's my greatest pleasure to thank the Adams County School District 14 Board of Education for hiring her in June 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go on to consent items, routine, personnel. May I have a motion for 1.0, 1.1?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.1.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Monica, roll call.
Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to business, 1.0 other, 1.1 superintendent's recommendation, approval to contract with the Rocky Mountain Deep School to provide educational services for students with deaf, hard of hearing, instructional needs for the 2018-2019 school year. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.1.
May I have a second?
I second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
The school year is over June 30th, and it's saying not to exceed 140,000. Is this correct? Am I missing something?
I think you're reading that correctly, that would be the amount of money which is now projected for that contract by June 30th.
Will you put the mic up to your mouth? You couldn't hear.
I think you're correct, that would be the total projected amount for this contract that would be spent by June 30th.
So then my next question would be, if we spend 140,000 in a month, did we spend almost 1.5 to 1.8 million from August to today?
My understanding was that it was already approved at 100,000, and this is just increasing it to that 140,000 because there's been additional kids, higher costs have been experienced than were originally projected.
All right, thank you.
Monica, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Martinez?
I have one more question, just curiosity.
Discussion.
Go ahead.
She needs a mic.
I just wanted to get an idea of why the increase, and I know IEP is a very demanding program, but I just wanted to get an idea why the increase and what were the funds be used for?
Yes, that's kind of a similar question to before, and I don't know that I can shed much light on any of the specific things that facility does, but I know it's based on a number of students that we're sending there. And I think originally we project that at the beginning of the year, and then as the year goes by, we try to decrease the approved amount. Depending on how many kids we end up needing to send there.
So it's just an increase in students?
That would be my understanding compared to the original projection. And I think that we don't have much control over the kids we have to send there.
Mr. Storrs, can you provide the BOE with the beginning of the year contract of how many students we started with in August to today, based on how many, the increase of students that is today? So if it was 10 students in August, if it's going up 140,000, how much was the beginning monthly? If it was 60 or 70,000, then I can understand the increase of 10 from additional 10 to 8 students today. But I'm just trying to figure out, like Ms. Martinez said, 140,000 for less than a month in school is out. Do the kids go to school year round? I'm not understanding, are they on a different plan than the rest of us?
I can provide that, so I will, maybe in this Friday update, try to send something to the board.
So nobody in the district can answer this question, how many students that this Rocky Mountain Deaf School has been, how many students the Adams 14 sent to this facility?
And I think the best answer I can give you is just based on a brief conversation I had earlier today. That I believe the number is small, but that number might be just 3.
3 students. So that's almost 40,000 a piece almost for 3 students.
Currently, we have about 5 students that are there, and they're placed there based on their full IEP placement. So they go through the process of going through the initial staffing with our district, which they probably already done, where parents, teachers, district administrator is involved in setting the IEP so that they're placed there for services.
Can we get that information in our Friday updates? How many students it was at the beginning of August? What was the initial contract? And how come we exceeding 140,000? If it was 5 students, it should at least be additional, more students should be added. Or did the contract run out and they need $140,000 more, and how come did the contract run out for them to add more money? That's the question.
Yeah, we'll get that to you.
Thank you.
You ready to call the question?
Roll call.
Ms. Martinez? Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana? Aye. Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to 1.2, superintendent's recommendation, approval for equipment purchase exceeding $15,000 per policy DJ. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of item 1.2.
Second.
Madam Chair, I second item 1.2.
Discussion?
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good, good, good. How old is the forklift and the power jack, please?
So the ones we're looking at purchasing, so the current ones we have are the ones we're purchasing.
How old are the current forklift and the power jack that's in the district that you want to replace?
Okay, I will have to get that information from you because I did not have that right here. I do have the newer models, but I can get you that information. I'll send it to Monica.
And my next question is, when was the service done on those vehicles? The old ones?
They're done yearly.
Yearly. So did we have a warranty or anything on those vehicles?
No, not on those, as far as I understand. I can get that information for sure, but as far as I know, we don't have a warranty on those right now.
So the
It's
warranty.
more preventative maintenance kind of.
So the warranty might have ran out, or we didn't buy them with warranties.
I have no idea, so I will look into that.
Okay. So, are your forklift drivers certified forklift drivers?
Yes.
And the power jacks, are they certified?
Yes.
And who certifies them?
I'd have to find out for sure too. I don't have the name of the organization that does that, but I can find that out for you.
And when was the last time they were certified, please?
Okay, I'll find that out for you as well.
And as far as have any accidents or anything happen on any of these forklifts? Have any accidents?
No, I have no record of that.
You don't have no idea if we had any
I have
accidents?
I have nothing on record for accidents. So
Okay.
that nothing has occurred as far, to my knowledge, has been reported.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question is, so back to the old forklift and power jack. So if we bought them, you should have a maintenance record of upkeep of
Yep.
those
Yep.
vehicles, right?
Yep.
I would like to ask the board to see those records and things before we vote on this. Because yesterday, during the parade, when we took the banners off, we just bought a new white vehicle and it had the door all slammed up. And we just bought new vehicles. And what I'm starting to realize since I've been on the dais with this board, with things in this district is, we don't do maintenance, we don't do upkeep. We just want to buy new things, just like we just bought that $64,000 lawnmower a couple of years ago that I voted no for. But instead of getting new things coming into this board, instead of buying, even though it's coming out the reserves of the nutrition, I understand that. But what I'm questioning is, if we don't know when was the last maintenance, how many miles on it, just like your car. I don't want to see the new stuff. I want to see what's done with the old stuff.
Sure.
What is the new warranty? I like to know when those gentlemen's forklifts certified, power jack, who certifies them? Can you tell the board how do they unload a truck when a vehicle comes up?
Right, so
Yes.
typically when we have the semis back up, they have a lift already, some a jack or a power jack already on the truck. They bring it to the end of the truck, trailer, whatever, and then we unload it from there with, well, if they have an elevator lift, they can bring it down and we can use our power jack. If we need to do it from the back of the truck, then we use the forklift.
So the warehouse doesn't have a dock with the truck.
Correct.
So reality is there's no dock for the truck to back up to.
You are correct.
So there's no bed for them to pull out to load on the truck.
Say that again.
A bed, a flat bed where they lift it up and they put it on the extension of the back of the trailer.
So sometimes they have a lift gate, but that's the only, if the truck has a lift gate, but otherwise we don't have anything else supplemental to
So
that.
our gentlemen, what they do is they take the forklift, they go outside and unload the truck outside, unload the trucks, and jump on the other truck.
No, the person that drove the truck up has to do everything in the trailer because we're not covered for insurance to be in that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever the driver is takes care of bringing it to the end of their truck, and then we take possession from that point on. So we don't go into the truck.
We don't go in the truck. So is that ocean safety? Is that is that ocean safety?
Yes, yeah. We should not be going onto a vehicle or somewhere we're not
How
covered.
we unload the truck? Have we have any standards, federal and state? Have they inspected how we unload trucks? Do we have any safety guidelines, state or federal? Does anybody know that? Have anybody inspected how we unload trucks?
I will check into that with my warehouse manager.
We don't know that. Okay. So, all right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a roll call, Monica?
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
No.
Moving on to 1.3, Superintendent's recommendation. Approval to purchase food and beverage from local vendors for the 2019-2020 school year induction program recipients. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.3.
May I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second item 1.3.
Discussion? Seeing none, Monica, roll call.
Ms. Martinez? Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to 1.4, Superintendent's recommendation, approval of out-of-state travel to Columbus, Ohio to attend the National Hope for the Wounded Conference. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.4.
May I have a second? Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Monica.
Ms. Martinez? Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Ms. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to 1.5, Superintendent's recommendation, approval of in-state overnight travel to Loveland, Colorado by Kearney Middle School counselors to attend the Colorado School Counselor Association Conference on October 9 through 11, 2019. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.5.
May I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second item 1.5.
Discussion? Seeing none, Monica, roll call.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Moving on to 1.6, Superintendent's recommendation, approval of Pinnacle Real Estate Advisors. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of item 1.6.
May I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second item 1.6.
Discussion?
Can someone tell the board who came up with these percentages for the payment of any sales? Who worked out the contract?
Madam Chair, can I answer the first part of that? Those percentages came from Pinnacle Brokerage, Mr. Emmerling. 5% compensation is fairly standard for commercial real estate deals of this size. And the previous contract that Mr. Emmerling had with the school district was similar. It was a little bit different. It had different levels of percentages based on the value of the property, but this value would be listed at $7.1 million, and so it falls, even under your previous contract with him, it falls under the 5% category. So my understanding, and someone from staff may be able to correct that, but my understanding is those are the percentages he proposed, and they're in line with what he proposed and received before, and my knowledge at least of prevailing standards in commercial real estate in this market. The 4% is also what he proposed. So that's a commission that he would sell if he sold it to someone who was not a buyer who's not represented by a broker. Whereas my understanding on the 5%, then he has to do a split with a buyer broker. So his compensation actually is not really 5%, it'd be less than 5% when he works with someone who's represented by a buyer broker. And if he works with somebody who's not represented, he would receive a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Monica, go ahead, Ms. Martinez.
I apologize, I'm not too familiar with commercial real estate, but my question is, what is the difference between a commercial and private in terms of commissions, where it comes from?
Oh, so my understanding is that in both like residential real estate or commercial properties, and when I say commercial, I just mean properties where a business or something like that would operate. The seller is the one that usually compensates the real estate agent who would represent the seller, and if a real estate agent is representing the buyer. So that's a customary practice, and the percentages, I guess I'm not that knowledgeable about residential percentages to give you much of a ballpark on that, although I don't think that they vary considerably, but the value of the properties is generally higher for commercial properties, and it can, obviously it depends on the market, but it can, it's probably a generalization to say that may be more or less work, to sell a commercial property versus a residential property. But generally speaking, there's more people interested in houses than there are large, commercial properties that might be zoned for one particular use or set of uses. So traditionally, that's why the compensation of a percentage-wise may be higher, because thought to be more work in the sales process.
I guess my question stems from, I don't know if I'm correct, but what I understand on residential properties is the commission comes from the money that you get from the sale.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember giving it personally, like it comes out of the sale of the property. And so I was wondering if, why would it, if the commercial real estate, that would come from our funds instead of the funds from the sale of the property?
Sorry, let me clarify that. It works the same way, the way this contract is written. The commission would only be made upon the sale of the property, and it would come from the proceeds that come into the district for selling the property. Yeah. So you don't pay a fee if the property's not sold.
Now here they say the broker and the consultant fee are budgeted in the 2019-20 capital reserves funds. So what is the broker and the consultant fee?
Eddie?
That's not part of the sale. That's something different.
Well, all I can tell you, I don't know about the budgeting piece, and maybe there's someone from staff that could speak to that, but I can tell you that the contract, which I've reviewed and worked on with Mr. Emmerling, only provides compensation in the event that the property is sold. So there's no set fee for services. It could be that they went ahead and included the money in the budget as an encumbrance. The contract that I prepared, and I talked about this with Mr. Emmerling, includes a Tabor clause. So it basically says the money won't be encumbered. I didn't know that was the case. So I don't know that that's technically required.
So compensated with the 5% payment from any sales from any land. Okay, I understand that. But then at the bottom it said the broker and consultant fees are budgeted. How much is the broker and the consultant fees? Where is that? Where is that?
It's the same fee, and it's only earned upon sale of the property. Again, that's the way the contract's written. The contract controls over whatever language is in this superintendent's recommendation. To be clear, legally, the contract is what controls. I don't know why it was decided, if it was to budget it. Somebody, I don't know if anyone here can speak to that. I can't. Oh, well, okay. So also, Monica just explained to me that the SUPREC was written before I handled my end of the contract review. I was the one that added in this clause that I'm talking about.
So the district added the program consultant fee.
No, the district put an assumed 5%. Is that right? Of the so if you sell the property for $7.1 million, okay, the compensation would be 5% of that. And the way the SUP recommendation reads is that the 5% payment is already marked in the budget for 1920. Is that accurate?
I think it could be if we were to do the sale.
Well, so the board is concerned that the way this is written implies that there is a separate fee to Mr. Emmerling and Pinnacle that's in excess of the 5% commission. So my understanding of the way the contract is written, because I reviewed it, is that the only payment to Mr. Emmerling is 5% of the sale of the property if it's sold. Is there some other amount that's been set aside to be paid?
There is not.
Okay.
No, and this was written before the final contract was received.
So I don't know what other explanation other than this was written before the contract we'd even gotten the real estate contract, I guess, from Mr. Emmerling. But certainly before I reviewed it, I added a whole bunch of district special provisions that included the Tabor funds.
So, as what Ms. Martinez was saying, and I'm trying to understand myself, the broker consultant fee are budgeted in the 2019-2020 capital reserve fund. We just went over the budget about an hour ago. We just went over the budget. Was this part of the 2019 budget, the consultant fee for this capital reserve?
There's not a line item built in the budget currently that has that amount in it.
But there's a contingency fund that's specifically, that does not have.
Maybe I can help here, because I have been involved in these meetings and I saw the contract as well. Mr. Shores, would it be correct to say that the funds that from the ACHS property, when sold, would be appropriated or would go into the capital reserve fund? Is that where?
Yes.
So the idea is the broker fee is 5% of the sale, only happens if the sale occurs, but all of the proceeds go into the capital reserve fund, so technically it's already budgeted, correct?
Yes.
Is that where the
Yes.
money would be deposited in?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I think my main concern with a lot of these is that they're very generic. And I feel that when a lot of these recommendations are presented, they're very generic. And so when they're presented and we have questions and they're not answered, or maybe we don't know how to formulate the questions, I feel like there's confusion. And on my part, I don't understand what I'm agreeing to. So I didn't understand anything that anyone said until Dominic said that the reason why it would come from the capital reserve fund was because the funds and the money made from that property would go into there first, and then you would take the 5% commission out. That's the only way I understood it. So can I suggest that whoever makes these recommendations, at least for me, if I can get it a little bit more clarified, because I'm still learning and I want to make sure I understand what I'm agreeing to.
But they can change this too, though. They can change the writing. They can change the writing to like I'm confused too. They can change the writing to this correctly. We can vote on this again to have the writing change to what is considered correct here. Am I right? No? When we vote on this, they can change the writing to say exactly what's in the right of this thing. Right here in recommendation.
Okay, so right now you have a proper motion that's been seconded to approve the SUP recommendation as written. Okay, so who was the maker of that motion? Since it's now been seconded, it's owned by the floor. All right, Senator Moreno, if you desired, you could amend. Well, it's been seconded, so the motion is now owned by the board. So you need to take it up. So you could interrupt that motion right now and debate and say, I don't think we should consider this, and that would be a two-thirds of you, if 3 of you agreed right now. And then you could start a new motion and amend it that way. Or, I mean, I guess the question is, you want to change the language? Do you know what you want it to say right now? Or...
So the motion on the table is the approval of the contract. The contract is 5% dependent on the sale of the property. So there is no separate budgeting or accounting for a brokerage fee or a consultant fee. So I would be happy to amend my motion to approval of the contract, and excluding any brokerage or consultant fee that is not dependent on the sale of the property, which is what the contract says.
Does anybody on the board object to that amendment of the motion in that regard? Just for the record, will someone second that?
Second.
Okay.
Did you catch all that, Monica?
She's fast.
vote on the amendment first?
Yep.
Okay, so let's have a vote on 1.6 as amended. We have roll call.
Ms. Martinez? Aye. Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to 1.7, superintendent's recommendation, approval of allocation of funds for a table of authorized personnel increase of 1.0 full-time employee for a professional development coordinator. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of item 1.7.
May I have a second? Discussion? Seeing none, Monica, roll call.
Ms. Martinez? Mr. Moreno? Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Moving on to communications. First of all, I would like to, we have does the board, it's to the board. Does the board want to sponsor the Quality Community Foundation Golf Tournament that provides scholarships to the Adams 14 students on June 14th? A brochure has been provided to all members of the board. If so, at what level? Who on the board is interested in playing? Since I don't golf, so not me.
I agree, we do it. I don't golf, so whatever. Years, I've been on the board, so.
So, Monica, I'm not sure what level we've sponsored at in previous years, but I would maybe recommend the $500 level.
And I think there's only two over here that play golf. It's Senator Moreno and Mr. Rolla. So.
I don't think Mr. Rolla wants to get better than I'm not very good.
Okay, is there anybody else have communications? Things you've done? Big, that you've been interested in?
Thank you for Adams City High School for hosting us, and thank you to everyone that participated in the Memorial Day Parade for making it a huge success. Thank you for making this district have such a wonderful, positive spirit, and I think we're more like Phoenix, like Lester Arnold. We're rising above all of the obstacles that are coming our way. So thank you for everyone who's working really hard this school year. For all the staff and teachers that are closing up another school year with dance performances, graduations, continuations, end of year parties, and things like that. So thank you for keeping the spirit of our students high, because we're going to get there.
I'll just extend my congratulations to Adams City High School for a beautiful commencement ceremony. That was really special for all the families, so thank you. And congratulations to the students from Adams City Middle continuing tonight, and the students from Kearney continuing tomorrow.
I want to just say, I've been to, since 2013, how many graduations are those? 6. Well, this one, to me, topped it all. I was so, it touched my heart to see all the kids so happy. They were so joyful. It was just amazing to me. And it was my first one. I have to honestly say that I really, really saw a difference in our students. even in the Lester Arnold High School. Everybody, all the kids just had this very positive attitude that they made it, they're going on, they're going to continue, they're not going to forget us, you know, and I just thought it was, in my words, awesome, you know. And I just want to thank all the teachers, because without them and the principals, couldn't do it. So thank everybody for all they've done.
I just want to thank everybody. Graduation was marvelous. They always good to me. They all the best. They, you know, but they all good. I love to see the students walk across that stage, and thank Adams City staff. Their hospitality tonight. Thank you so much. ESS building for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Monica, thank you for all you do and your hard work for this year. Mr. Farrow, thank you for being here. I look forward to a couple of more meetings. Thank my board members, and thank everybody. Have a good night. Adams 14. Thank you.
So that concludes the board meeting, but we will adjourn into executive session. What time is it? 8 o'clock?
Madam Chair, I move to proceed into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402, Paren 4, Paren A, real estate district properties, and CRS 24-6-402, Paren 4, Paren B, legal advice, board to conference with an attorney on for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific matters.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Good night. Be safe.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Ms. Martinez? Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mrs. Quintana?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?